Vermont is one of the smallest states in the U.S., both in size and population. Tucked into the northeastern corner of the country, it covers just 9,600 square miles, making it about 1/70th the size of Alaska. And yet, despite its tiny footprint, Vermont is home to nearly the same number of people as Alaska, around 640,000 residents in 2025. That means while Alaska stretches over mountains, tundra, and glaciers with barely a soul in sight, Vermont concentrates its population into a compact, hilly landscape where towns are never too far apart and solitude is more of a choice than a necessity. The population density here? Around 67 people per square mile. That may seem sparse compared to urban states like New Jersey or Massachusetts, but next to Alaska's 1.1, it feels almost crowded. Still, most of its communities are small, tight-knit, and rooted in tradition. You won't find skyscrapers or sprawling suburbs here. Instead, think white-steepled churches, winding roads flanked by stone walls, general stores that haven't changed in decades, and autumn foliage so vivid it looks unreal. Vermont may not be remote in the geographic sense, but culturally and spiritually it stands apart. Why is Vermont so empty? While it's beautiful and peaceful, it's not a place most people move to in large numbers. There are many reasons why large parts of Vermont remain one of the least populated places in the United States, which are a mix of geographic, economic, and cultural reasons, all of which contribute to why many people don't want to live in the state. Reason 1. Mountainous rural terrain. One of the fundamental reasons Vermont remains so sparsely populated is the deeply rural and mountainous nature of its landscape, a geography that not only resists dense development, but actively shapes the pace and pattern of life. The state is defined by the Green Mountains, which stretch north to south through its heart, forming a rugged spine of steep slopes, thick woodlands, and narrow valleys. These mountains are more than a scenic backdrop. They are a natural barrier to urbanization. Building large-scale infrastructure like multi-lane highways, expansive housing developments, or industrial zones across such terrain is logistically difficult, environmentally sensitive, and enormously expensive. Unlike flatter states where land can be easily cleared, subdivided, and developed outward in all directions, Vermont offers few such opportunities. As a result, no major city has ever taken root, and even Burlington, the state's largest population center, functions more like a compact college town than a thriving urban hub. This terrain not only limits where people can live, but also how they live. Towns are often tiny and widely dispersed, tucked between hills or nestled in valleys, and connected by narrow, winding roads that snake through forested mountainsides. During winter, these roads become treacherous, sometimes impassable, and entire areas can be isolated for days under heavy snow. Emergency services, supply routes, and commutes are all affected. In many parts of the state, there are no nearby hospitals, shopping centers, or even grocery stores. Residents must travel long distances for basic services. This physical remoteness creates a kind of enforced self-reliance, which appeals to some but feels burdensome and lonely to others. Reason 2. Limited job opportunities. Another major reason so few people live in Vermont is the limited range of job opportunities. The state's economy is modest in scale and heavily tilted toward traditional sectors such as agriculture, local tourism, education, and artisanal or small-scale manufacturing. These industries, while vital to the character and stability of Vermont, rarely offer that kind of high-paying, fast-advancing career paths that attract young professionals, recent graduates, or entrepreneurial talent. Unlike many other states, Vermont has no major financial hubs, few nationally recognized corporations, and a minimal presence in fast-growing sectors like technology, biotech, or large-scale logistics. The absence of such economic anchors not only deters new residents, but also encourages the outmigration of ambitious Vermonters who feel they must look elsewhere to build a career. Moreover, the rural nature of the state means that jobs are not just limited in variety, but also in accessibility. In many towns, there are simply not enough employers to support a growing population. Even remote work, though increasingly popular, is not yet a widespread solution. Many rural areas still lack fast, reliable internet. Because of these limitations, Vermont faces a brain drain. Many of its best educated or most career-driven individuals leave after college and do not return. Reason 3. Long, harsh winters. Vermont's long, harsh winters are another key reason why its population remains low. Stretching from late fall well into early spring, the cold season dominates nearly half the year. During this time, the landscape is transformed into a frozen, snow-covered world where daily survival often depends on preparation, endurance, and adaptability. Heavy snowstorms can dump several feet of snow in a single night, paralyzing transportation networks, cutting off power and leaving rural communities temporarily stranded. In the mountain regions, icy roads and steep terrain make travel hazardous, and for those without four-wheel drive vehicles or access to reliable plowing services, even a trip to the grocery store can become a significant challenge. Temperatures frequently plunge into the single digits or below zero, and when combined with wind chill, outdoor conditions can become dangerous. Heating costs skyrocket during these months, putting financial strain on households, especially in older homes that lack modern insulation. In remote areas, heating fuel deliveries may be delayed due to road conditions, leaving residents to rely on wood stoves or backup generators. At the same time, sunlight becomes scarce. With short gray days and long nights, many Vermonters face the emotional weight of seasonal affective disorder, a type of depression triggered by the lack of daylight and social isolation. For people used to warmer, more predictable climates, Vermont's winters can feel not just unfriendly, but downright forbidding. The daily routine, from getting kids to school to clearing snow off cars to simply walking outside, requires a level of physical effort and mental toughness that not everyone is willing to tolerate. Reason 4. Demographic scale. A deeper reason behind Vermont's low population lies in its slow, and in some areas, negative population growth, a trend that reflects deeper demographic and economic challenges. Unlike states with booming cities or large immigrant populations, Vermont sees very little in migration, and its natural population growth is also minimal. The state has one of the oldest median ages in the U.S., meaning that a large portion of its residents are retirees or aging adults. At the same time, birth rates are low and there are relatively few young families or new residents to balance the demographic scale. Compounding this is Vermont's persistent youth outmigration. Many young people leave the state after high school or college, often seeking broader career opportunities, cultural diversity, or a faster-paced lifestyle in larger metropolitan areas like Boston or New York. Once they leave, few return, especially if they build careers or families elsewhere. This loss of working-age adults not only shrinks the labor force, but also weakens the long-term sustainability of local communities, schools, and services. So, why does Vermont stay so empty, even when the rest of the country keeps growing? After everything we've covered, the rugged mountains, the endless winters, the lack of big city jobs, and towns that feel like time forgot them, it's fair to wonder, why hasn't Vermont filled up? The answer is in part by design. Vermont isn't chasing skyscrapers or six-lane highways. It's a place that values scale, solitude, and slowness. While other states compete to build bigger, Vermont leans into being smaller, and that's exactly what makes it special. It's not for everyone, and it's not trying to be. But for those who stay and those who come seeking something quieter, Vermont offers something rare. A sense of place untouched by sprawl, powered not by ambition but by intention. Empty? Maybe, but for many that's the point.